Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 33, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
Tribhuvana kammanam tamalavarnam ravikara gauravaram ambarang dadhane vapuralaka kula vritana nabjam vijaya sakhe ratirastume navadya. Sri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamal tree. His body attracts everyone in the 3 planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus feet, covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results. Purport: when Sri Krishna, by his own internal pleasure, appears on earth, he does so by the agency of his internal potency. The attractive features of his transcendental body are desired in all the 3 worlds, namely the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. Nowhere in the universe are there such beautiful bodily features as those of Lord Krishna. Therefore, his transcendental body has nothing to do with anything materially created. Arjuna is described here as the conqueror, and Krishna is described as his intimate friend. Bhismadeva, on his bed of arrows after the battle of Kurukshetra, is remembering the particular dress of Lord Krishna which he put on as the driver of Arjuna's chariot. While fighting was going on between Arjuna and Bhishma, Bhishma's attraction was drawn by the glittering dress of Krishna, and indirectly he admired his so-called enemy Arjuna for possessing the Lord as his friend. Arjuna was always a conqueror because the Lord was his friend. Bhismadeva takes this opportunity to address the Lord as Vijaya Sakhe, friend of Arjuna, because the Lord is pleased when he is addressed conjointly with his devotees, who are related with him in different transcendental humors. While Krishna was the charioteer of Arjuna, sun rays glittered on the dress of the Lord, and the beautiful hue created by the reflection of such rays was never forgotten by Bhismadeva. As a great fighter, he was relishing the relation of Krishna in the chivalrous humor. Transcendental relation with the Lord in any one of the different rasas, humors, is relishable by the respective devotees in the highest ecstasy. Less intelligent mundaners who want to make a show of being transcendentally related with the Lord artificially jump at once to the relation of conjugal love, imitating the damsels of Vrajadham. Such a cheap relation with the Lord exhibits only the base mentality of the mundaner, because one who has relished conjugal humor with the Lord cannot be attached to worldly conjugal rasa, which is condemned even by mundane ethics. The eternal relation of a particular soul with the Lord is evolved. A genuine relation of the living being with the Supreme Lord can take any form out of the 5 principal rasas, and it does not make any difference in transcendental degree to the genuine devotee. Bhismadeva is a concrete example of this, and it should be carefully observed how the great general is transcendentally related with the Lord. Bhismadeva is appreciating the form of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is supreme in everything. Even when he cheats, he's the greatest cheater. everything he does is in the superlative. No one can match Krishna. Krishna's beauty is being described. There are many verses in the Vedic literature which describe the beauty of Krishna. Devotees are enchanted by the beauty of Krishna, by his qualities, by his dealings with his devotees. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada discusses more about the rasa, or the amazing pleasure which is generated from relationships with Krishna. How devotees are appreciating Krishna in different ways. Different people see Krishna in different rasas. Mother Yashoda always sees Krishna as a young boy. The gopis, who are the same age or a little bit younger than Krishna, they always appreciate Krishna as their lover. So they all see Krishna and they appreciate his beauty, but their appreciation of it is different according to their relationship with him. The friends of Krishna, his boy friends, they like to see Krishna very beautifully decorated. They come in the morning to help decorate Krishna, although Krishna himself is the decoration of, he is the source of all beauty. So it appears that the decorations are decorating Krishna. But actually the beauty of the decorations only comes from Krishna. So it's a service that the devotees can perform to offer some decorations to Krishna. But actually he's complete and self-sufficient in himself. So when the devotees, according to the rasa they're situated in, when they see Krishna, that gives a stimulus to make their feelings for Krishna more. Those who are in Shantaras, they're simply appreciating Krishna. When they see the form of Krishna, their appreciation of him increases. Those who are in Dasyaras, they also see the form of Krishna, and their desire to serve him increases. Not that there's anything lacking in their desire to serve him, but it increases. Those who are friends of Krishna, in Sakyaras, when they see Krishna, when they appreciate his beauty, then that inspires them to act in a friendly way by joking with him, laughing with him, playing with him. Those in Vatsalyaras, Mother Yashoda, when she sees Krishna, seeing his beautiful form, then automatically milk flows from her breasts in maternal affection. And when the gopis, they see the beautiful form of Krishna, their desire, which is already there, to embrace Krishna and kiss Krishna, that increases. Now, the form of Krishna is described in many places. Anything you can do later, please do later, because we're so unfortunate that even if someone's doing something not very interesting, everyone somehow finds it more interesting than discussion of Krishna. So they'll all look at him instead of listening. But if we listen, then Well, that's what we came for. We'll be benefited by hearing about Krishna. So Krishna's form is described in the Vedic literature. There are many, many beautiful verses describing the form of Krishna. Venam kvanantam aravinda dalaya taksham arhavatam samasitam buddhasundarangam kandarapakoti gamaniya vishesha shobham govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So, you all know this verse? I hope so. We sing it regularly. Venam kvanantam. What does this mean? Flute, yeah. He's playing a flute. We see the form of Krishna playing a flute. Aravinda dalaya taksham. Who can say what this means? Yeah. Like, specifically like the petals of a lotus. Aravinda dala. Dala means the petal. Barhavatang sam. Anyone know what this means? Yeah, it's a peacock feather decorating his head. Asitam buddha sundarangam. Anyone? Asita means? Anyone? Anyone knows what asita means? It means black. Asita ambuddha means cloud. Ambuddha. Ambu means water and da means that which gives. Asitam Buddha Sundarangam. Beautiful form. So a beautiful form which is black like the cloud. Ambuddha means a cloud that gives water. Some clouds don't give water. They're white. They're just there in the sky. Those that are about to give water, they're black. So Asitam Buddha Sundaranga means his very beautiful form which is black like a cloud. Kandarapa Koti Kamaniya.
Much more than Koti Kamaniya.
More desirable, more attractive than Koti, 10 million, 100 lakhs of Kamadevs, than any number of Kamadevs. Kandarapa Koti Kamaniya, that is his Vishesha Shobha, his specific beauty. And who are we talking about? Govindam Adi Purusham. And therefore, Tamaham Bhajami, I worship such a person who is so beautiful. Alola Chandrakala Sadvana Malya Vangshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keli Kalavilasam Shamam Tribhangi Lalita Nyata Prakasham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Should we go through this one also? Alola Chandrakala Satvana Malya Vivangsi means that Chandraka means well, it's translated as, I don't know if there's any actual translation, it's translated as moon locket. But what actually should be said in English? I don't know. Is it a decoration resembling the moon? That's Lasat. You know this one? Lasat Kundalam means hilte hue. It's swinging as he swings it. Alola Chandrakala Sadvanamalya Vangshi, that you can get. Along with his Vanamala. Vanamala means, anyone? Garland of forest flowers. Ratnangadam His body is decorated, Ratna Anga. His body is decorated with jewels, Ratna. Or it can also mean his body is a jewel. His body itself is the greatest jewel. Praniya Keli Kala Vilasam. He's engaged in pastimes of transcendental love. Shamam. Well, you all should know what that means. Blackish. Shamang Tribhangala. Three bended form. Where are the three bends? Neck, waist and knees. All right. Lalit. What does that mean? Chibanga Lalita. Charming, graceful. Chibanga Lalita. Niyata Prakasham. He's always manifest like this. Therefore, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The very form of Krishna is so much attractive. Everything about Krishna is so much attractive. Devotees, they have composed so many poems and songs. Roop Kirtan. Mostly Kirtan means Nama Kirtan. Haraye Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Srimadhusuta. This is Nam Kirtan. But there are also so many Roop Kirtan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So many devotees have composed. What is that? I'm just now not remembering. Shafal Janma Jaha Krishna Darshan Jaha. Krishna Roop Darshan Ta. Something. Guna Kirtan and Leela Kirtan. Nam Gun Roop Leela. These are different aspects of appreciation of Krishna. So Kirtan, one division of Kirtan, means of sung Kirtans, not Sankirtan, sung, that which is sung. Sung Kirtan, because Kirtan also means to speak about Krishna. So in Kirtan that is sung, there is the division of Nam Kirtan, Roop Kirtan, Guna Kirtan, and Leela Kirtan. So here, Bhismadeva is describing Roop Kirtan, the beautiful form of Krishna. The form of Krishna which Bhismadeva saw, he's pointing out that Krishna is blackish, like the tamal tree, that he has a yellow dress, lotus-like face, smeared with sandalwood pulp. So this is the same description of that the gopis see in Vrindavan. Blackish Krishna with a yellow dress. In this way resembling clouds with lightning. His form is black, like the cloud, and the dress is yellow. So it looks like cloud with lightning. That's a comparison. And Krishna's form is smeared with sandalwood. So the same, but Krishna in Vrindavan and Krishna who ran towards Bhishma, there's a difference. There are some differences. One difference is that Krishna is running towards Bhismadeva very angrily. So sometimes in Vrindavan Leela, Krishna is also, please don't put anything in your mouth. Don't mind, but I personally saw Prabhupada instruct this, so. Now you'll put this, then everything becomes contaminated. You have to train the children. This is supposed to be trained to children. Don't put the hand in the mouth, or anything, except food and datam, and that's about it. Nothing else. So Krishna, in his Vrajalila, he sometimes becomes angry with the gopis, but that's in play. Sometimes he becomes also with his... In play means that the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis, there are lovers, quarrels, or sometimes Krishna, when they're playing, they just as we see here, the boys, they become impatient with each other, they quarrel. Just like one time, the cowherd boys, they complained to Mother Yashoda, Krishna is eating dirt. And Krishna said, no, I'm not eating dirt. They're making stories against me. Because in our play, we had some quarrel, and now they're making stories about me. It's not true. Sometimes Krishna becomes angry at Mother Yashoda. All glory is to Krishna's anger, by which we are celebrating Damodar month. This Damodar month is a celebration of Krishna's anger. Now he became so angry that my mother, she left me. I was nicely drinking the milk from her breast, and then all of a sudden she just put me down. So Krishna became very angry. And in his anger he broke the pot of butter. So Krishna becomes angry, but the anger he had towards Bhismadeva, this was a different category altogether. He was rushing at Bhismadeva to kill him. So he never wanted to kill Mother Yashoda. There's no question. That anger, that is the anger of love within the family, and actually the anger he expresses towards Bhismadeva, that is also an anger of love, but in virya ras. That is in the fighting mood. Now Krishna fights with so many demons, with Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, with Ravana. He's fighting with them, but his mood in attacking Bhishma is somewhat different. Even though he's angry with Bhishma, that anger is not an expression of actual enmity or dissatisfaction. It's actually an expression of his great satisfaction with Bhismadeva, because Bhismadeva has the abhiman, he has the feeling that I am a warrior. That is his mood. The Kshatriyas, their whole pleasure is in fighting. They're trained to fight, and they're very heroic and big and strong, and not hooligans, but they fight for the sake of dharma. And they take pleasure, in feats of arms, and even when they're among themselves, they'll always talk about this kind of weapon and stories of great fighters. So Bhismadeva is very much in that mood. So his appreciation of Krishna is, he most appreciates Krishna, even though he also appreciates him in his prayers. he's also talking about how Krishna is with the gopis, but his own personal appreciation of Krishna is seeing Krishna as the fighter. So when Krishna attacked him, then Bhismadeva was in great ecstasy to see. Because if he had been on the side of the Lord, he could have never seen the Lord in his ecstasy of fighting anger. He could only properly see that and experience that by being against him. So the Lord attacked Bhismadeva with the same yellow dress, blackish features, sandalwood pulp, but this time he was already, because it was the end of the day, he was already, there was blood on his body, and the blood was mixed with the dust. You can imagine the dust, thick there, just like if you go by motorbike in Calcutta, for instance, then you just go for half an hour and it takes you half an hour to wash all the dirt off your face. Chennai, you're mostly from Tamil Nadu. Chennai, it's the same. There's so much dust in the air, so it's black. So, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there's so many chariots, and there's so much dust must have been thrown up. So at the end of the day, the blood mixed with dust must have been caking the body of Krishna. And Bhismadeva saw that. Krishna's hair was all scattered, and in tremendous anger he came to attack Bhismadeva. Krishna said, very nice. He was appreciated. How beautiful is Krishna. He was there's a moment of greatest ecstasy for Bhismadeva. And Bhismadeva is remembering that. How he appreciated the form of Krishna. And how he appreciated how Krishna, he loves me. But Vijayasaka, he's the friend of Arjuna. He loves Arjuna more. He appreciated that also. That he so much wants to protect Arjuna that he's ready to kill me, even though he knows I'm his devotee, but he's more partial to Arjuna. So he appreciated that. He didn't think, well, I'm also a devotee, I also chant 16 rounds. Actually, Arjuna wasn't chanting 16 rounds or any rounds, nor was Bhismadeva. They were fighting. They were satisfying Krishna by fighting. So he was appreciating how Krishna is the friend of he loves Arjuna so much that he's going to get in trouble, for not in trouble, but people are going to criticize him for generations afterwards. He doesn't care. Now Krishna made a promise. Now he's going to break his promise. You also like to put your hand on your mouth. Now you're going to touch everything. You should go wash your hands. Mothers, train your children. No one likes to do, but you can't serve Krishna properly if your hand's on your mouth and then you put on the Bhagavatam and on your beads. It's an offense. We're talking about high topics of rasa, but first we should learn very, very basic things. Don't put your hand on your mouth. Don't put anything in your mouth unless it's food or toothbrush or datam or whatever. So, what was I saying? How Bhismadeva very dear to Krishna, but Arjuna, he's even more dear. That Arjuna, Krishna is ready, that he's given a promise and he knows by breaking this promise it's going to be written down. And so many people will take an excuse. You see, Krishna is dancing with other people's wives, and then stealing the clothes of the gopis, killed his uncle. When he grew up, he thought he might be better, but you see now he's 125 years old and still, throughout his life, he promised he would not fight, would not raise any weapon, and still he's doing. And even after that incident, he's instructing Arjuna to kill Karna when Karna is down from his chariot. Even Karna is protesting. This is against dharma. And Krishna told him, where was your dharma when you insulted Draupadi? Where was your dharma when you had the gambling match, cheating in the gambling match? Gave a whole list and then told, just kill him. But he's blamed. Then again, Duryodhana and Bhim fighting, and Krishna's giving the indication. Hit below the belt. Even now in English there's a saying, below the belt. That means something which is very improper action. To attack someone in that way. And Krishna told, so Krishna, he did all these things just to show that, not just to show, it's a natural thing for Krishna, that his partiality towards his devotees, his promise that he will protect his devotees, that is more important to him than anything else, even that he's blamed by others. It also gives an opportunity to the demons to blame him, because they want to go to hell. So he's facilitating that also. Krishna fulfills all desires. So if people want to be demons, Krishna also gives them the opportunity. Actually, Krishna never does anything wrong. If we think that Krishna can do anything wrong, then we are wrong, because even for a start, Krishna is not blamable by worldly morality. And another thing is that everything he does is axiomatically laudable. He is not under the laws of material nature. But fools and rascals, they will simply look for faults. And although it's not possible that there is any fault in Krishna, still they will blame him. They're complaining that he had Karna killed like this, but he kills everyone in the whole universe. Why are you complaining about Karna? Everyone. Krisishnu Prabhavishnu Cha, he eats up everyone. He showed Arjuna, the Vishvarup, that all the soldiers are entering into the mouths of the Vishvarup. Everyone dies. He destroys everyone, one by one by one by one, and then at the end of the universe, everything burns up. So, Krishna, Bhismadeva was appreciated. He specifically made that promise to Duryodhana, that tomorrow I shall fight in such a way that either Arjuna will be killed or Krishna will have to break his promise, that he will not raise any weapon in the battle. So it was a challenge, because that Either way, Krishna would be the loser. This was Bhismadeva attacked, Krishna attacked Bhismadeva because either Arjuna was going to be killed, which Krishna didn't want, or that Krishna would have to break his promise not to fight, which he also didn't want. But he chose the lesser of two evils. Actually, it wasn't so much a matter of choosing. Automatically he did it. Sometimes you see a child runs into the road and someone rushes out in front of the car and saves the child. They say, oh, hero, great hero. But the person who did it didn't think, when they saw the child, they didn't start calculating, shall I do it, shall I not do it? I'll become a hero, but it's a great risk. They don't think, they just there's no time to think. Shall I do it or shall I not do it? So similarly, Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Bhishma was fighting so severely against Arjuna, he didn't call a little Darabha, he didn't call Uddhava and Satyaki and consult. Well, do you think I should do it, or what do you think? Well, people blame me, and think Arjuna can look after himself, or he didn't think about it. Just at one point he just got so angry. This rascal, this Bhishma, all his love for Bhishma was forgotten. All his respect for Bhishma was forgotten as he saw that now Arjuna's finished. And so he just couldn't restrain himself. He jumped down and just picking up the nearest thing, which was a broken chariot wheel, he rushed at Bhishma and attained the name Ratangapan, who has got a piece of the wheel in his hand. So Bhismadeva was very pleased to see beautiful Krishna with blackish form, sandalwood pulp smeared on his body, yellow dress and a flute. No, there's no flute. There's a broken piece of wheel which he's coming and Bhishma's up on the chariot, the old man, and Krishna's ready to, even Bhishma's firing arrows at him. He's going to take that chariot wheel and club him to death. Krishna lost his temper. Out of love. So what kind of God is that? There's a God who loves his devotees so much that he's prepared to break his promise, spoil his reputation, to defend his devotees. So Bhishma is appreciating. He's appreciating Krishna, how he loves his devotee, Arjuna, so much. And he's also appreciating the beautiful form of Krishna. Even in that circumstance, Bhismadeva was appreciating how beautiful is Krishna. That when he thought again and again and again in his mind, he was seeing that. How Krishna is coming to attack him. A playback again and again and again. And again and again in his mind, those few seconds when Krishna is rushing towards him. Again and again and again, and he's seeing in his mind. And he's seeing the beautiful feature of Krishna covered in blood and anger, the fire in his eyes and the look of extreme anger with the wheel part in his hand. He's remembering, so beautiful. Now I'm more fortunate than Arjuna because Arjuna couldn't see this. I can see this. All glories to Srila Vyasadeva, who has recorded these wonderful moments, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada, who has given this to us. All glories to Bhismadeva. Hare Krishna. Is there any question about this? Is there any question about this topic? First, you can see.
We're telling about that Krishna is partial. But when Abhimanyu was there,
Krishna is partial. Yeah, so?
So the same way, when Abhimanyu was fighting, all Karna, those people were all telling Krishna, don't fight, don't hit me without instrument, don't tell Arjuna to beat me, like that.
What's that, Abhimanyu?
When Abhimanyu was alone.
Yeah, but Krishna wasn't there.
No, not Krishna. I'm telling the Kauravas were really cruel. They also attacked together. That was also against the Dharma.
Right, that's one of the instances that I was saying that Krishna was saying to Karna, where was your Dharma? So that was one of the instances. There's a whole list of them. And where was your Dharma when you all ganged up to kill Abhimanyu? And at the end, Karna couldn't say anything. He just stood there in silence. Krishna told him to kill him. Tit for tat. Yeah. So, yeah.
He said that whatever Krishna does is completely absolute.
Whatever Krishna does is absolute. Yes, absolute means it's not subject to the relativities of this world. It's neither good nor bad according to the judgment of this world. It's absolutely good. That means by hearing about Krishna telling Arjuna to kill Karna, you get the same benefit as you do by hearing about Krishna giving his devotee Sudama a big palace. It's not that one activity is Krishna giving the palace to Sudama is good and the one killing Karna is bad. No, absolute. It's all good. But it's all good but on a different platform to the so-called goodness of this material world. Question?
Yes, like when he was killing Bhismadeva, when he came rushing towards Bhismadeva, he was showing his anger. And that anger and when he was, say, killing Shishupala, is that anger also the same?
No, I already discussed that in the class. I already said that when he was fighting with the demons, his anger, it's not the same anger as he showed towards Bhishma. Because the anger with Bhishma, basically his relationship with Bhishma is one of love. Also with all living beings, but in the case of Hiranyakashipu, Shishupala, the loving sentiment was overlaid by feeling of enmity towards them.
How can God be enemy to anyone? God is
No, he's not the enemy of anyone. He's not, but sometimes that feeling is there. This is rasa vichara. First we should understand how great he is. And then by his mercy, to some extent we can appreciate rasa vichara. That's why I'm just following what's given here in the verse and purport. But actually, we should learn first things first, like not putting your hands in your mouth, having the basic common sense to turn off your cell phone. When these things should be taught first, but somehow we don't teach these things. So, we're talking about Krishna apparently violating the rules of mundane morality. That doesn't mean that we don't bother following any rules. We have to follow certain principles to serve Krishna properly. It's not that we have a license just to do whatever you like, however you like, whenever you like, and call yourself a devotee. That's not true. That's not correct. Yeah. You have to do 500 times a day. And then they'll learn. Baby will put the hand in the mouth, pull it out. And then 30 seconds later, they'll put the hand in the mouth, you take it out. That's how you train them. If you think it's too much troublesome, then you don't train them. Then they can never serve Krishna properly. Should never engage in deity worship. You put your hand in your mouth and then you go and touch the deities. What is this? You shouldn't touch anything. Yeah, what's your question then?
Maharaj, how much is the person's karma controlling one's life? Because in Prakriti Grimanani, that sloka we say,
How much is karma controlling your life?
does he have
Well, there's no karmometer. You can't, Actually, if you touch the feet, you also. Anyway, babies in general are contaminated. There's no karmometer. But it is highly influential, you can say, unless and until one surrenders to Krishna. It's not that we're fully controlled by karma. We have some free choice also. But karmic reactions certainly strongly influence the course of our lives.
The person had asked this because I was not able to answer this question.
What's that?
The Bhagavad Gita says that the three modes of mental nature is directing every activity of the individual. So then, if that is so, then how is karma also? I can say that we are actually having a choice.
Well, the acharyas have explained that this emphasizes the influence of karmic reactions. But even logically, it can't be that we're totally controlled by them. Otherwise, how could we have made karmic reactions in the beginning? You can only make karmic reactions if you have a choice to do right and wrong. Then you choose, if you do right, or if you do punya, sukriti, sukarma, then you get a good result. And if you do dushkarma, you get a bad result. But you have to have the choice. If there's no choice, then we're just robots, and there's no use to discuss Bhagavad-gita anyway. So free choice must be there. But at the same time, we are very much influenced by the karmic reactions and the mentality that we inherit from previous lives. But nevertheless, we have a choice. Otherwise, there's no use to discuss right and wrong. There's no use to having scriptures which say you should behave like this and don't behave like that. The modes of material nature are very influential, but especially if we associate with devotees, then manovya sangam uktibihi, the mental attachments become cut. Chindanti manovya sangam. What's Tato du sangam utsrija satsu sajjeta buddhiman shanta evasya chindanti manovya sangam uktibihi. Lord Krishna states that one should give up bad association. Du sangam utsrija. And an intelligent person should associate with sadhus. Rascal! Sadhus, by their strong words, cut the material attachments. I was just imitating Prabhupada. We shouldn't imitate. Of course they didn't have cell phones in those days, but if twice it requested and again it went off, it's, of course, Prabhupada, you can never tell exactly what he'd do. He might tell a joke, but more likely he would give you a good chastisement. We was watching that Acharya video last night, and we see again and again and again, Prabhupada was just heavy like anything, wasn't it? They asked the question about the big seat, said, well, so many people have a big seat, and Prabhupada said, yes, I don't have because you are envious. Because you don't appreciate it. Actually, you should give a big seat, but because you're envious. Prabhupada said just like that. And again, he was telling people, remember just journalists, different just people. He was meeting with one person, so he was a professor, said that then you're a cheater. You just told him just like that. Not in a very angry mood, just told him that actually you're a cheater. That's all. You don't know and you're a cheater. You're teaching the subject, you're a cheater. So like this. So that's just, I was just quoting this verse that Shanta evasa chindanti, that by their strong words, the sadhus, they cut our material attachments. So, what is this? Prakrite kriyamayani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Our karmic reactions, we're controlled by them. How is that? Purusha prakriti stohi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya sadasadyoni janmasu. We get different situations in this world due to considering ourselves the enjoyer of the modes of material nature, and thus we are incarcerated with the material nature in various situations. So this guna sangha, this attachment to the three modes of material nature, this involvement with the three modes of material nature, is cut by the words of sadhus. So we should associate with sadhus.
Maharaj, could you please tell us something regarding Bhishma Panchaka we followed 5 days?
Bhishma Panchaka, something about it. I don't know. Whatever you do to satisfy Krishna. Loka ki vaidiki vapi ya kriya kriyato mune hari sevanukulasya. Then something bhaktir ichchata. Whatever we do, whether it's according to Shastra or just some traditional usage, everything should be, we should see if it's favorable for our service to Krishna. Everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. So if you can serve Krishna better by following this, then do so. You can do so. That's a question in itself. Question session is open, so you don't have to ask for special permission.
One of the person who newly joined our movement was asking that when this Jaya Vijaya, they had a curse, they had to come for 3 incarnations, like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, like that. But this Krishna killing all the demons, is it only in the material world or in the spiritual world also? Because in the spiritual world, everybody is the 5 rasas.
There's no killing of demons in the spiritual world. There's no killing. There's no material bodies. So where's the killing? There's one poster which is being circulated in ISKCON. There's so many mistakes in that. It shows Hiranyakashipu being killed by Nrsimhadev in the spiritual world. Buddha in the spiritual world. So many mistakes. Anyway, I didn't see it here. People, they don't study deeply, they don't know what they're doing, and they paint pictures and they make posters and they speak. They're not qualified to speak. At the beginning of this movie we saw last night, it said, Srila Prabhupada at the ripe old age of 60. You don't talk about sadhu like that, old age. Yes.
We are asking the Nitya Leela is going on, so Nitya Leela is only here, in the sense. Like Krishna will come again. Like
there are certain pastimes which are only in the material world. There's no killing in the spiritual world. Do you want me to say it again? There's no killing in the spiritual world. There's no Ravana, there's no Hiranyakashipu, there's no Putana. It's more fun here. There are certain pastimes which can only take place here. More fun, well, there's this concept of fun. We shouldn't, in modern life people are, fun, have fun, go to the beach. The Vaishnava understanding is that Krishna has fun and we just try to assist him. That's all. But we have to be trained for that. You have another question?
What happens if death happens during sleep time or instant death in accident?
What happens mean? What do you mean what happens?
What will happen to the soul after the death?
What happens to the soul after death depends upon the consciousness at the time of death and activities performed prior to that.
In a case, one of my friend's son, he's 4 years, he was killed on the spot in an accident.
Generally, violent death, generally the ghost body is that. Generally. In the case of one who's chanted Hare Krishna, Nahi kalyana kaschit durgating tata gacchati. For one who has performed pious activities, then they don't get durgati, they don't get a bad situation. But generally violent death leads to ghost body. A lot of ghosts in the modern world. 4-year-old boy, maybe not, because they may not be so much attached to the body at that age. You see, it says in Shastra, it says violent death gives ghost body, but that's a general. Or ghost body means subtle body, no gross body. That's a general statement. Otherwise, what exactly happens after death in each individual case, it's very complex. There are so many different factors. So it may be difficult to say.
But in Dham, many accidents, that is exceptional. No matter.
If one dies in the Dham, well, I'm told there are also ghosts in the Dham, actually. Some fierce, very fierce ghosts. I'm not sure exactly about Bhuta Tattva in Dham Bhuta Tattva. It's not really a central point of our philosophy to understand. But there are ghosts in the Dham also. As anyone who's resided there for some time will tell you. Actually, they're not in the Dham, but those who are actual Dham Vasis, they'll never be troubled. But for those who are not fully Dham Vasi, those whose body might be there but whose mind is not there, they will be troubled. So maybe they're sent there to trouble those who are just making a show of living in the Dhamma. Hare Krishna.
In Bhagavad-gita chapter 9.2 in Prabhupada is quoting one Padma Purana sloka where is mentioning that if we are engaged in Bhakti Yoga, all our pap karmas which are not yet manifested or manifested, all will become zero. So how come devotees like Bhismadeva and are had to suffer by sleeping on the arrows?
Bhismadeva never suffered. Pure devotees never suffer. What might appear to materialistic people as suffering is just another phase of their service to Krishna, that's all. Materialistic people even say, they say that Krishna, he was cursed by Gandhari that his family will also have to die in a internecine fight. So you see, he had to suffer the reactions. That's a materialistic understanding. Jato deko vaishnave bebaha duk nischoy janeho taha parananda shuk. We should know for sure that any apparent suffering of a devotee is simply another phase of his transcendental bliss, that's all. We should... Even to ask this question means we have no understanding of Krishna consciousness whatsoever. Bhismadeva was never under sinful reactions at any phase. There's no question of sinful reactions for Bhismadeva. He's always fully under the shelter of Krishna's internal potency. You have systematic classes here, training in Bhagavad-gita, all these things. Do you like that? Should teach this philosophy. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming.
His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj ki
Jai.
From Shabdeshwar, we like to just give a small donation to Maharaj, 501 dirhams.
Hare Krishna. There's a word, dakshina.
Oh. Guru Dakshina.
Yeah, donation is not such a good word actually.
Sorry.
Donation means that I need something and you're giving it.
Excuse me, Maharaj.
But dakshina, the consciousness in giving dakshina should be that we are fortunate to have the opportunity to serve.
Yes.
It's different to, you find some poor people and you give them something and you become superior to them.
So we are giving a Guru Dakshina to Maharaj.
You're offering.
These are the new books. Books and CDs.
My book on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur
Who's come?
is under final editing.
There's 1 dirham was not put inside. 500.
Alright.
Sorry. All of you can just put your take prasad.
Then after that I have to finish my book on Vaishnav culture. Then don't put your hand in your mouth. Don't say I'm giving a donation. Don't put the Bhagavatam below you. And special for the 21st century, don't come into the temple with your cell phone on. Hare Krishna. Do's and don'ts. Vidhi Nished. So for the 21st century, at least the beginning, there's